Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
Hey, we're back. This is the At Odds Show. I'm Nate. That's Brian.
Hello.
That's Steve over there.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's a nice promo there. That's from the world down under. And, that's our international flavor.
Good friend.
Very good friend. We can't say who.
Nope.
He or she is incognito. It's a she.
All right.
You
said too much.
I said too much. Nate, the one thing that I was wondering, and I always thought this was true. I mean, I was taught this throughout civics classes in high school and political science classes in college and stuff, that only citizens can vote. Why would a president insist on giving vote to non-citizens? What would be the logical reason for that? Or the city, was it the city of New York or the state? I think it's just the city of New York wanted to grant voting privileges to non-citizens. What the hell is that? Do they mean green card people that are working there or on visas that are legitimately in the country and not a citizen, or is it illegals as well? And how do you determine the difference when you don't have any kind of voter ID? Now, the state we live in requires voter ID. Did you know that, Michigan?
Yeah, I vote.
Except that if you don't have your ID, you can sign an affidavit that swears that you are that person and you are a citizen. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. So I'm going to try that next time, because they always ask for my driver's license, and I'll say, well, I want no ID. And I want to see how they react, because then I'll say, well, I'll just sign the affidavit that I is who I say I is.
Yeah. Well, you do actually have to sign it.
Right, you have to sign it with the ID, and then you have to, but you can also...
Is there an extra step?
Well, yeah, if you don't have an ID, and you can't get one, let's say...
Yeah, I know that.
That you can sign this thing and you can still vote.
It's not just the card that you sign. There's more to it that says I am.
I think so. It's a
special.
special...
Really signed my name.
Yeah, I think it's a special form.
So you're going to try that next time?
I think so.
Yeah, and then when they're like, no, you'll just take your ID out and vote?
No, I will stomp my feet up and down and say...
sue?
And then sue them and then say, you're violating my constitutional rights. Or some such stuff. Like right there. But what is the advantage of letting illegals vote? Or non-citizens?
Well,
do you think they should be?
No.
Well, why? Stop typing and elaborate.
No, I'm not typing. I'm trying to fix
all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
This is what we have Steve for.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that's why we had Steve, but...
apparently it's not.
Steve smelled extra herby today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Let me see. All right. So, I don't know.
Taking care of that, are you?
Hopefully that's a little better. I don't know if it is or not.
Uh-oh, we got a sound problem?
We
got
do,
sound issue?
yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Did I
that's
talk
okay.
like this?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
What was your question?
What is the advantage, and why would you allow non-citizens to vote on
the advantage
U.S. Elections?
Okay, the advantage is to increase your voting base.
Yeah, but for who?
For whoever you think that class of non-citizen will vote for.
And who would that be?
Democrats always.
Well, who's pushing for it?
Democrats always.
Are Republicans pushing for that?
Not openly. So what happens is the Republicans see that the Democrats have success with it, and so they start to try to pander. And you have people like Marco Rubio who start talking about amnesty and that to get the vote of not only the citizen base of that class, but also the illegals that are going to vote anyway, because it does happen.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's the advantage, then how do you? I mean, I don't know. It's just, it boggles my mind that they would allow that. Wouldn't you want just? Oh, I know what I was going to say is that. So let's say 10% of the U.S. population votes I'm just pulling that out. But let's
Okay.
say 10%. But 90% of the illegals vote.
Right.
So that raises it up to, 14% of the,
Okay.
total population in the United States, illegal and legal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I
how do you get those statistics?
I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, how do you determine, 10% vote? Well, if a lot of that vote is illegals, then what the hell, what does that tell you about the
Oh,
U.S.?
I see what you're saying.
Does it
Well,
actually mean that only 3% of U.S. citizens vote and
during the
7% is illegal?
during the
Or non-citizen? I got to say non-citizen.
during the 2012 presidential election, there were counties and states that had over 100% voter turnout.
Right, but I think that's just fraud. I mean, I think that's just stuffing the ballot
If
box.
illegals are voting, that's
Yeah,
also fraud,
I
isn't
don't.
it?
I don't think that's it. I think they're stuffing the ballot box.
No. What I'm saying is there is fraud already. So when you
Right.
talk about when we say that only 10% vote or whatever, is that an accurate statistic? I don't think it is.
Well, apparently it can't be.
Illegals are not.
But my point is, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be able to vote in our elections. It's as simple as that. You don't have a legitimate stake in U.S. politics. Now, people can argue that, say, well, they're human beings, and they certainly do have a stake in how their lives are dictated and stuff. No, they don't, because they're here illegally. They're criminals.
Yeah.
We don't allow felons to vote in a lot of cases. We don't allow people that are in jail to vote and all that. They lose that when they become criminals.
Yeah, I got you. We have laws that very clear about who can vote. So let's get back to your question.
I didn't have one, but
Was it Clinton?
yeah, it was Clinton. I don't know. What are you talking about?
The trivia question.
Oh, I forgot all about that. No. Which president held his daughter's high school prom in the White House?
It wasn't for Chelsea.
That's a good guess.
That was
No.
our favorite fan.
It was our favorite and honestly elected President Gerald Ford.
Oh wow, yeah, nice. Which time was he elected?
The first. No,
it the first time?
No, there really wasn't a first
He
time.
played
was
football at U of M.
there? Yeah, he did.
Okay, that's all I know about him. So in
and-
Pennsylvania,
Oh, geez.
what?
Nothing. Go ahead. What happened in
Well,
Pennsylvania?
Look, no, we've always talked and thought that it's pretty clear that you have the right to film the police. Right?
Yeah,
you can record the police.
there have been 2 federal judges that have ruled that that's the case. You have
Right.
the right to film police in public doing their duties.
But another federal judge in Pennsylvania said,
Mark
not quite.
Kearney, who's a good Irishman, and why would he do this? I don't know.
Canary?
Yeah,
It's Kearney.
Kearney, whatever. It's Irish.
Canary.
Kearney, like tyranny, which is what he voted for.
You're right.
He's a he's a 1-year judge, first year, specially appointed. Guess what he did before that? And he was a shareholder in a high-profile law firm in Philadelphia, specializing in commercial litigation. He said,
Okay.
there was a case that went to the federal district court. Lower court said that these people did have a right to film people, and this was in Philadelphia. 2 citizens were arrested for recording police in public. He said, "We find no First Amendment right under our governing laws to observe and record police officers absent some other expressive conduct." Fields and Garcia, these are the plaintiffs, alleged constitutionally protected conduct consists of observing and photographing or making a record of police activity in public forum. That has been ruled a bunch of times in other federal cases and in state Supreme Court cases. You have the right to film police doing their duty like any public official or anybody in public, right? If you're walking down the sidewalk, I can film you.
And that right is protected by the First Amendment?
I think that's how it's been ruled, yes.
Okay. Because
But, what? Go ahead.
go ahead, because I'm going to read the First Amendment, and we're going to pick it apart.
Okay, good. He said neither person uttered any words to the effect that he or she sought to take pictures to oppose police activity, although it's implied. Because we find this issue dispositive on all the plaintiffs' First Amendment retaliation claims, we first address whether Fields and Garcia conduct is constitutionally protected. And he looked at a bunch of stuff, and he said, we conclude that they cannot meet the burden of demonstrating their taking or attempting to take pictures with no further comments or conduct is sufficiently imbued with elements of communication. How the hell does he know that? How the hell does he know that they didn't record them and put them on their YouTube channel and talk about their situation? They didn't do it while they were filming, but they have every right to film them.
They
just like every damn news agency has a right to film people in public and comment on or not.
Did they claim that they were press?
It doesn't have to. Those cases have also been
By somebody higher than this federal judge?
Or I think
equals
so.
Or lesser courts?
I think equal to.
Okay, well.
So in other words, the conclusion is, if you want to film police and do it in the Pennsylvania district of this federal judge, you have to say things like, hey, cops, go screw yourself. Hey, you bunch of pigs, I hate you.
I don't know.
And then you can express that.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, that's what it says.
No, what you have to say is...
I'm filming you for First Amendment purposes.
Yeah, I'm going to take this to the press, or I am the press, or something like I disagree with what you're doing. Right. So the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Right.
So just filming the police or you walking down the sidewalk, I don't think that act is protected by the First Amendment.
Well, it has been protected in all kinds of cases.
I think it is protected. I think you have that right. A natural right to do that sort of thing.
Well, I don't know. What is it?
What do you mean, what is it?
It had to be established.
Does it have to be enumerated? Did it have to be established?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Because there's been all kinds of cases.
It had to be granted by the government, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying there's all kinds of lawsuits about people being filmed in public that have gone against people that have posted things on YouTube and other. They've always been upheld that you don't have any expectation of privacy in public
places. They were
places.
posted on YouTube, though. Right, so that's press. That's modern press.
Oh, okay, that's press.
That's a little different. In this case, I don't know. Did
they weren't given time to do it. They were arrested for it.
You had better do it quick.
Yeah,
if they were live streaming, they might have been okay.
No,
what I'm saying is, I don't think the First
horrible.
Amendment is the argument.
Horrible thing.
The First Amendment's not the argument. The First Amendment doesn't say that you can take video of someone sitting on a bench in a public park.
Well, of course, the First Amendment doesn't say a lot of things. So we have to go to case law, and we have to go to situations where it is.
Why?
Because that's how our court system works.
So we have to find a judge that will grant us the right to do that, is what you're saying.
No, if you have...
And on top of that, we've never had federal judges that ruled incorrectly?
No, we have. But what I'm saying is there's lots of precedent that takes case at the federal level that has said you have the right to film police in public doing their job.
I think,
regardless of the First Amendment.
I think the judge is wrong. But I think to say that he threw out the First Amendment in this ruling, that's not accurate.
I
don't think the First Amendment covers me taking pictures of my neighbor. I don't think it does. It covers me using those pictures to publish an article.
Your neighbor is a private person, which is a little bit slightly different than public officials.
Whatever, but I think
it's
pretty well established. It's pretty well established that I have the right to do that.
To record public officials in their duty than it is to record your neighbor's 18-year-old daughter swimming in a pool.
Same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not talking about where you have an expectation of privacy, but sure, a cop, it doesn't matter.
I didn't say it was a private pool. I said it was a pool. It could have been a public pool.
Taking pictures of a firefighter or a policeman that has someone pulled over on the side of a public street. Same thing. I don't think that act itself is necessarily protected by the First Amendment.
Well, how is it protected? It's not?
Well, I think it is. I think there's a bunch of rights that aren't protected, right? Like your right to breathe air.
Because this has